look down at their phone, the
Yeah.
people would disappear.
Oh, I saw that ad.
Yeah,
That was so cool.
yeah. It's like kind of creepy because you're like, yeah, it's kind of like that.
Well,
That
it is.
sometimes you stand in a room and you're talking to somebody or whatever, and they look at their phone and they get involved in their phone, and you're like, yeah, I really do feel like I just disappeared.
Yeah, I wrote a poem about that a few years ago, even before there was Facebook, and it was, there's two people walking down the beach, two lovers. Suddenly, one is alone because the other has answered their phone.
Right. Yeah.
And it's rude. I just saw a couple of guys the other day over on the beach, and they're walking up, and this one guy answers his phone. First of all, talking like that, and this other guy then is walking with him. I thought, this moment that these two have come, whether they're traveling with their wives, these two guys, or whatever the story is, and they're going for a walk, and the other guy is just kind of by himself there looking at me, might as well be there by himself. And the other guy, blah, 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 blah. What I do too when these people talk loud, notice everybody's talking louder, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. We went to the Social Security office, maybe it was a year ago. Maybe a little more than a year now. But anyway, we go to the Social Security office, and there's a din that's growing. All of a sudden, the guard there goes, "Quiet down!" And everybody's like, "Whoa, oh, jeez, okay." And then I'm there going, "What are we in? Are we in, where are we? In Germany or something, man? What's going on here, And, who does he think he is to do that? But you know what? Everybody quieted down, and it never went back to that rumble. And it feeds on itself. I have favorite restaurants in town, and the roar is deafening. And so everybody's just, so you know what I do when somebody's got a cell phone? Hi, blah, 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 blah. I pick up my phone. There's nobody on there. I go, sorry, I can't hear you because there's somebody on their phone yelling here. Rudeness.
Yeah.
Let's go, hey, Danny, let's go have lunch together. And then you're there, and I'm there.
Yeah. I'm guilty.
It's not nice. Oh, bye. Nice having lunch with you. I saw two guys at Mr. Mante's Casual Grill a number of years ago. They were blue collar guys. And they had their work clothes on. I don't know what they did for a living, construction, I think. But they all sat there, and one after another. And they had those really, what do you call that when somebody really irritates you? Some person. Anyway, the flip phones, and it's like, okay, yeah, you got to bring that load of cement up here. Yes, and it's going. It's
like those
walkie-talkie thing.
Yeah,
it's like, shut your thing off and listen through the headset. I do not want to hear your conversation about cement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so irritating.
Bad time in cell phone life.
But you as a financial guy, I will tell you this though. So every couple, I a few years back now for our magazine Girls Voice, I had to buy a Nikon camera. I got a Nikon camera. I love to take a photograph. Okay, so that's like at least $1,000. Okay. Now, okay, that's just one expense. Now I got my microphone. I used to have a microphone with a chip in it. And they break down every couple of years, so I need a new one. They were $1,900. I got it from up in Canada. Okay, so there's $2,000, including tax and shipping. Okay, so now I get the new iPhone. I don't know what they're costing these days. It's $1,200, $1,600. What do they cost for an iPhone?
I don't know.
But they're pretty. Do you have an iPhone?
No, I haven't made the plunge yet. I gotta Google.
You need to get an iPhone, man. But anyway, so. So I get the iPhone. My phone finally falls into the water. I mean, Steve Forbes, I have his personal number. I have all these famous people. Matter of fact, when I was collecting money for the muscular dystrophy one day, I called Steve Forbes. So he gave me a few $100, I mean, I could bother all these people. So anyway, my flip phone goes into the river. So I get an iPhone. Okay, now with the iPhone, it comes with a microphone. And it comes with a recording device. Now, so I no longer have to buy mini tape recorders, and those things would only last like 6 months. So I have to buy too many tape recorders every year. So it goes on and on. So the camera, I don't have to buy a new Nikon camera because the best camera is the 6 or the 7, iPhone 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then what did I say cost $2,000? Oh, the microphone. So I don't have to buy the microphone. $2,000. So that's $3,000. I mean, So I'm saving thousands of dollars by having an iPhone. And I'm only talking about a couple of things.
Yeah, yeah, I do my show. I used to use that Yeti microphone to tape my show, but now I use my phone. My phone sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, do you use the? Oh, okay. Because so yeah, I got to get that too. There's my friend has that recording. They have high fidelity too. It's just amazing.
yeah, high fidelity. It turns it into an MP3, and then I just email it after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah, I could do it from a hotel room. I can do it
Yeah,
anywhere. Yeah,
that's what I do.
yeah,
And if you want, you can send away for the headphone that'll go in there. And,
yeah,
you need that. You don't
yeah.
really need it, I guess. The only bad thing is it doesn't look like a microphone.
True.
So it's kind of like you're demoted. Well,
I
don't
still have
think
the microphone in my office that people ask me about.
he doesn't look like a
It looks
real talk host. He's just holding up an iPhone to the guy's face. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, people watching, even watching the news anymore. Half these people are on Skype. You know.
By the way, today's broadcast is brought to you by Hale Groves. Ice cold, fresh squeezed Hale Groves orange juice. Mm. Honestly, I grew up in upstate New York. I never liked orange juice because it was that Tropicana crap.
Yeah, yeah.
I come down here and I find out what orange juice really tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
So, stop in at Hale Groves up there near Wabasso on the right side of the road as you're heading north towards Sebastian. You ever seen the Hale Groves up there?
Mm-hmm.
And they have delicious fruits and vegetables. And be warned, though, they have 2 new Taylor ice cream machines. Now, Taylor is the Rolls Royce of ice cream machines. They're like $27,000 each, but they make it so it's real icy and cold. And they now have, remember creamsicles?
Mm-hmm.
They have the real orange juice and the swirls of vanilla ice cream together.
Oh, those are one of my favorites. They call them jet bars. Yeah.
Oh, delicious. And they also have banana. The other day they had banana and chocolate. What a combination. Dangerous. I could only eat a sample. So, folks, stop into Hale Groves. Tell them you heard about them on the Mayor Show. So, Danny Howes is in here with me, and he's a financial consultant. And how do you determine where you're going to invest people's money?
Well, it always starts with a plan first. That's what we do. I'm a big fan of first figuring out exactly where we are, what you have, how it works, how it affects you. If you're continuing to do what you're doing now, what would that look like 10, 20, 30 years from now? And then looking at somebody's risk tolerance, how they feel about their money and the market and the economy. It makes no difference what my opinion is. I mean, it does, but really what it is, money is emotional. And a lot of our industry touts, well, we're trying to take the emotion out of it to protect people from their emotions. But really, I don't believe that. I think it's more or less just helping people manage those emotions and sticking with their beliefs. If somebody says, I don't want any risk, then we'll build a plan around no risk. If obviously there's not going to be as much growth.
Because this whole world's filled with risk and reward, right?
Right. But if somebody is fortunate enough to not really need to take the risk, then we build it around that, and if somebody's not comfortable with where their money's invested, like sin stocks, things like that, tobacco, alcohol, or just areas of the world, that's a big thing. We have a way where we can unbundle somebody's portfolio, their 401k, IRAs, their investment accounts. We can actually show them exactly where their money in the world is invested. Do you have a lot of money in China? You didn't realize it because you own some big mutual fund that you didn't know what was inside of it. Mm-hmm. Or did you know that you are invested in these different types of industries that maybe you're either religiously against or whatever, or that you just would never invest in if you knew. Yeah, and so that's basically what we do. We do a synopsis of where it is now, and then we build a plan around where we want to be. And then all those investment vehicles, there's no favorites, there's no better than others. There's a reason why they all exist. But it's so much easier to place those different investments and tools in place once you know where you want to go and how you want to get there. And then it's just a matter of just filling in the blanks. It makes it very easy to do that way. It's not that complicated, but what makes it complicated is when you go in, you sit down in an office, and somebody said, basically tries to sell you a product,
Mm.
sell you this type of mutual fund or investment or annuity or insurance, and this is the only answer, and this is why, instead of, well, here's where we want to go. This is our destination. Here are all the what ifs in life that can happen, disability, long term care situations, premature death, loss of job, business going under, or economy failing, whatever it is. These are all the what ifs. So we built a plan that can withstand all these what ifs along the way so we can make sure we get to that destination and have that result. So, what do we need to do then to plug in between? And even if somebody's willing to take more risk, the question then becomes, well, if you don't have to, why? If we can actually build a plan to get you where you want to be and you don't have to try to make up for lost time by, playing in the big casino of Wall Street and just gamble and try to make up for that lost time, then let's not. It's all about risk mitigation. People work 20, 30, 40 years to accumulate their nest egg. And I feel like our jobs are not to try to make people millionaires. You're not going to become a millionaire. Nobody's going to become a millionaire or reach their financial successful goals by some stockbroker picking great stocks. Nobody's going to walk into my office and say, oh, Danny Howe's made me a millionaire because of what he picked. It has nothing to do with that. It has the blood, sweat, and tears of what somebody pours into their business, their career, their profession, the risks that they take, the frugality that they use throughout their life. That's what gets them to their financial
Well,
success.
once in a while you strike it. So people,
yeah.
when AOL started here, some
Sure.
people became very wealthy
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah.
But that's a very rare thing.
Right. Yeah. So, in the growth is fun, and we get involved in that. But when it comes to financial planning, that wealth is generated usually by people working hard, being at the right
Well,
place
look,
at the
I
right
just
time.
told you that guy the other day, Tommy, and he said when he was a little boy, his father said, "You're going to put $20 away every month,"
Mhm.
and he put the money away, and he's done it ever since then. He's 57 now, and he has $846,000, better part of $1 million.
Power compound interest.
There's another one with 900,000 in it. The power of compound interest. Explain how that works.
Compound interest.
Yeah.
The eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
Simple. Let's say we invest $100, and this year we make 10%. What do we have? We have $110, right?
Mhm.
Well, let's say next year we're going to make another 10%. Well, we're not going to make 10% on $100. We're going to make 10% on $110, right?
Okay.
So we wake up and now we have $121 the next year, and so on and so forth. But dollar cost averaging is even more fun because that basically puts gasoline on the fire of compound interest. Dollar cost averaging is what your friend did. $20 a week goes in, $20 a week is going to work for itself, and it's earning interest. And then you put another $20 in, and then that earns interest. So it's contribution plus passive income that can explode somebody's wealth without them even knowing it. That's what happens with these 401ks and people just diligently putting, they check off the box and the money goes in the account and they wake up and they retire and like, oh my goodness, I got a lot of money, I can do this.
Yeah.
And it just happens over time, and it doesn't take a whole lot.
What amazes me is someone who works for themselves like I do, and then I have people who are friends that work for the government. Well, now I've realized if you're making $100,000 a year working for the government, right? They retire after what, 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
And they live, so what's that, about 60 or 65, whatever. And I got friends now living they're 20 years into it. Well, that's another 100,000 a year, that's another million, that's another $2 million they got. So in other words, if you figure it out, every day somebody's working, they're actually making double that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making $100 a day, you're making $200 a day.
Yeah, if you have a government pension or
if you're making $100,000 a year, you're making $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
So in other words, because a friend of mine moved away from here. Well, he's still taking money out of the area though because he works for the local government.
Mm-hmm.
So and it goes on forever. Do you think that's going to last, or do you think we're going to crash like we did in Detroit eventually, and people will? I mean, you got to admit it's out. I mean, I know people in this town that get $174,000 a year.
Well, I have firefighters come from New York City, Long Island. They come down, and they'll be making close to $200,000 a year if they were high up, and They don't
in
have
retirement.
any savings. They don't need any savings. They spend every dime they got. And they have a great life, but it comes in every single month, But that's changing dramatically. It's just not sustainable. It's not like what it used to be. Our population doesn't grow fast enough in order to pay for the future anymore. It used to be
Okay.
that there were more workers than there were retirees. If you think about my grandfather, for example, he wanted
Yeah.
just enough money for bait and tackle for about 5 years after he retired, and then off he goes. Well, that's exactly what happened to him. He retired, younger on disability. He lived for about 5 years, died of a heart attack, and that was it.
Really?
You're not funding somebody for 20 or 30 years of their life. So the whole system of Social Security and all these pensions, and the reason why they keep blowing up is because they were built on the preface that people were only going to live 5, 10, 15 years after retirement, not 20 or 30 years. That's becoming typical.
Yeah. Well, but also they raided the coffers too.
Yeah.
Somebody stole the money from
Well, if you look at a lot of pension funds, they went off the assumption of 12 to 15% growth. And then now, what are interest rates paying? I mean, nothing, right?
Let me ask this: you want to have $100,000 a year coming in when you retire. How much money do you have to have saved? 3 million?
Well,
Four?
It used to be a 5% rule. So
which meant what?
Which meant, if you want to conserve your principal and you want to be able to take out this $100,000, then that needs to be about 5% of whatever you have in there. So you need about $2 million to be able to take out $100,000 a year if you're earning 5%. Well, now, because of the artificially low interest rates that the government has imposed on us, it's more like 3 to 4.
Oh,
But there's a misnomer about that, well, that's what you have to have. The whole dream of retirement that our grandparents used to teach us, right, is I want to invest my money into something safe like CDs or bonds, make 5, 6, 7%, and conserve the principal and not spend the principal. But those days are kind of gone because of how artificially low the interest rates are. It's like a hidden tax on baby boomers. You see all these people retiring, and they have built this country to what it is, and have amassed a tremendous amount of wealth, $1 trillion in IRAs and retirement accounts, only to find out that now they can't even make 3 or 4 or 5% safely to be able to live off that money. So it's a hidden tax in my opinion. And Wall Street is able to benefit from these low interest rates. They're able to go out and leverage huge and make all this money. But the folks that are just now retiring, if they got $1 million or $2 million or whatever it is, they have to take more risk in order to get more income the way that it's designed now. And it's kind of sad. But there are other ways and techniques that we utilize to try to get more income than just CDs and.
Well, I'm not sure that retirement is biblical anyway, because well, anyway.
Rewiring.
Rewiring. Danny Howe, well, you die. They say you die within 7 months if you don't go to work. So you're going to work anyway.
You got to rewire. Most people.
And if the economy crashes and what happens in Detroit happens here, what are these people going to do who used to work for the government, thought everything was all set? Listen, they want more information. Danny Howe's has your show when?
Every Thursday, 10:30 a.m.
10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Thursdays right here. Danny Howe's. What's your website, Danny?
www.eastcoasttaxandfinancial.com.
eastcoasttaxandfinancial.com. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Say hi to Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I'll be over for some chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah,
Today's broadcast brought to you by CJ Cannon's, the restaurant with the beautiful panoramic view for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. CJ Cannon's. The only thing they overlook is Vero's Municipal Airport Strip. This is the mayor who loves you, baby.
Yeah. Out of the office. I didn't really want to be there.
You didn't? Well, good. Then it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like answer prayer. Some days you just don't want to be,
Yeah, sometimes I just want to be out and about. But I love my location because I can just go for a walk now. The other day I went for a walk. I probably walked for like a mile and a half.
I think I'll go over with you now to see it.
Oh, come on over.
Yeah,
my daughter's there. You can meet her.
Great.
Oh, you met her when we did the political thing.
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is cool.
Hey, Steve, could we grab those for me? And we'll take them to the back. I gotta get my leather coat here. Oh. Hey, you like that? I got it. When you shut that thing off, it's not going off. It's on. No, okay. When you shut it off, you got to go back to output settings and do a create. Would you turn that off now? So it's still on. Yeah. Well, oh, every day, entertainment. Yes. That's cool. Good. I'm gonna go off. How you doing today, Mr. B?
Very good. How are you?
Just happy to be here.